I cannot believe this.
I feel like I'm supposed to
I
be
do
everything
believe that I am live.
when Romeo activities with him.
If I can get Jersey Crafter to just hear me for just 1 second, I can tell her
It's absolutely ridiculous.
that we have been successful.
It's the stupidest thing on earth, people.
And I can't believe it was that easy. How did they ever get away with this? How did they ever get it? How did they get away with this?
Oh, Karen, if it's depressing, don't watch it.
I can't believe it.
Sweetheart, you don't have to.
This is an app. It's called Creative Labs.
All right, you know what, Sonia, I might be. I don't know. We'll see. All right, people, I'm going to put this
And
where it belongs.
I'm live without 1,000 subs.
But I like Carmen's idea.
I honestly didn't think that was possible. Yeah, I'm live. Hello. Hi. It's me. I can't believe I'm live. I'm live. I'm listening to Jersey Crafter now, and I'm live. It's working. I have no idea how they let this happen. How did they let this happen? This is the best day of my YouTube career. I'm awesome. How are you? I don't know how to see your message without standing up and looking down at what I'm doing, because I have, you know, this in my holder. How does Jersey Crafter sees it, I wonder? I do not have 1,000 subscribers. I thought that it would be necessary for me to have 1,000 subscribers in order to go live. And it's not. It's not necessary to go live. Oh, I think if I go to my channel and I watch myself, maybe I could see the chat. I have 2 people watching me right now. I cannot believe this is live. Thank you. I'm so excited. Yeppy is right. Yes. So now I have Trace. I've got Jersey Crafter, the Jersey Crafter in my background. I'm watching the Jersey Crafter, and you're watching me draw. So this is really cool. I'm excited. This is very exciting. Very exciting.
Maybe I'll put it right here. I don't know. It's not a bad idea.
Now people can watch me color, and I can just color. So let's color.
Oh, these are too short.
I'm using R22. I'm working on a project for a collaboration called Christmas in July. And the final Saturday is coming up. And although the theme is rustic this week, Tracy messed up. And Tracy posted rustic last week. So Tracy's going to be a good sport. And Tracy's going to do last week's theme this week. And everything is fine. So now I've done an underpainting, if you would. That's what we call it in painting, of Copic markers. And I'm using R22, R21, and R00. I don't even know if anybody's watching me right now, but I'll just keep talking because I'm good at that. Now initially, I laid all these colors down. Hi, Gwen. I have to see if I can go to my live stream and log in myself to my own channel. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Okay. So let me see. Oh my stars. Oh my stars. I have to see if I can go to my live stream. This is insane. This is crazy. Okay, guys, I'm here. I'm watching you. Now I can see everything you're posting. Hi, Gwen. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so what I was saying is I've done an underpainting. This is a stamp set from Gina K.
I'm watching you.
Okay, I have to mute my channel. So here's Gina K. Designs. Oh, my mask is in the way. This is a beautiful poinsettia. Poinsettia. It depends on who you talk with. This is it right here. And it's by Gina K Designs. And I've done all the basic colors. So it's R22 for my deepest color, R21 for my mid cone, and then R00 for my highlight. So now that I've done the basics, I'm going to go in from the tip, and I'm going to see if I can get some more depth in my coloring. You guys seeing me okay? Someone let me know if you're seeing this okay. So here I have a really light tip. I've got some good definition in here, but I want to go over here. I want to add some really deep color here. Not too much, because Copic markers, they flow like crazy. They're really fast, and sometimes it makes me really nervous. So you just don't need to add very much. Thank you. Copic colors are amazing. I have almost all the Copics that you can have. However, I did it the much more expensive way. I did it one marker at a time, my friends, and that is not smart. It's the most expensive way to get Copic markers, is to do it one marker at a time. So what do you do then? Well, if you're patient, you wait. You go to arteza.com and you buy their alcohol markers. And if I would have done that, I would have been much better off. Are you familiar with Arteza? Arteza and everybody else, I think it's Who has good. Leticia, is that how you say your name? I want to say it right. Leticia? You let me know if I'm saying it wrong. So I want you to stop right now. I don't want you to get Copic markers. I want you instead to go to arteza.com or to look up, not Hoo. Yeah, Hoo. I think it's Hoo. Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, did an amazing job showing you those markers from Hoo. It's Hoo. Funny name. So anyway, go check them out. I don't want you to start with Copics. I want you to find out if Copics are necessary. They may not be anymore. Honestly, if I didn't have 300 and probably, I guess I'm close to about 40 Copic markers right now, I would have Arteza alcohol markers right now. I kid you not. So as you can see, I'm giving this leaf kind of an arch just by using my darkest tone here and my darkest tone here. It's giving you the impression that the leaf is arched over. So when you do that, it just brings dimension to your leaf. I'm doing them all individually now. Again, yes, this is Copic markers. Now, are the Hoo markers, I can't get that name. If the Hoo markers or the Arteza markers are not, I repeat, not the highest quality alcohol marker you can buy. The highest quality alcohol marker that you can buy, in my opinion, are Copic markers. But Copic markers, no matter how good they are and how smooth they flow, are not light fast. What does light fast mean? It means over time, if your pictures that you used Copic markers with are exposed to normal sunlight, let me add a little bit more mid-tone. I don't like the way that faded out. There we go, that's much better. They're gonna fade. Whatever art you do that's exposed to light will fade with Copic markers. So what's the advantage of buying Copic markers for, like, say, on average, you can get it for about $6, $7 a marker. What are the advantages? Well, the advantages to having Copic markers is you get to have the exact same numbers of marker to the people who you are watching, and they are showing you how it's done. So it's much easier to follow. I'm sure that that's true. So now look at, you see this leaf right here? I'm going to use the deepest mid-tone because I really want this to give me the impression that it's deeper in there. It's recessed, I guess is the word. And just a little bit of light is going to hit that leaf. So I'm going to go in with the R00, and I'm going to come out. Now I have thought about, even though I have all the Copic markers, I have struggled with not getting the Arteses because they get really great ratings. Lindsay from the Frugal Crafter says they're great markers. And for a hobbyist, and honestly, that's, if I'm honest, that's what I am. I'm a hobbyist. I'm better off with those. And I think you are also. Because these are flaming expensive. And yeah. How am I going? Am I still on? I can't look at the comments and look at the picture. I guess I'm on a little bit of a delay. So that's okay. We live out in the country, folks. And when you live out in the country, your internet is not as good. So that's the process. Now again, with alcohol markers, if you can hear me, alcohol markers are not light fast, and they will fade. So again, if you're just doing card making, if you're just doing basically fun, having fun with coloring and making projects for your family, I'd go with the Arteza alcohol markers. I see that there's a delay on my live stream that I can see. So I'm going to go down to the comments now, and I'm going to see. Oh, my craft room. Oh, you and me both. Now tell me, Letitia, is that right? Letitia? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hi, Gwen again. My craft room. We can talk about my craft room. My craft room is going to be receiving a huge install on August 12th. August 12th and 13th. Oh, that faded nicely. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having custom cabinets installed. Okay, good, Letitia. Letitia, now here's the deal. August 12th and 13th, we had first of all, we moved to a new place. That's the farm. That's why I changed my channel name to Born Again Farm Girl. And we have a free room. Now, almost all of my children have moved on. So now this free room that used to be our bedroom is now going to be my craft room. Now, we didn't really know how to do it. We were going to do it the IKEA way. I know that everyone is going to understand IKEA is very popular. And my husband and I did go to IKEA. And we fell in love. Well, I fell in love. My husband just went with me because he loves me. But anyway, so I thought I was going that way because that's very popular online. I wasn't happy with that definition back here, so I'm going to go in, maybe smooth it out. Ah, I like that much better. So anyway, we went there to IKEA, and we had this long list of furniture that I was going to buy. And yeah, I was all on board with that, but my husband started thinking, hey, all this comes in flat boxes, and I'm going to have to put it all together. And he was like, whoa, wait, no. So he says, why don't we just call this company that keeps sending us flyers? And it was a custom closet company. And I was like, well, honey, they do closets. I want my craft room. And he's like, well, you know, they're just going to probably come and tell you what they could do. And that way we'd know the dimensions at least, so maybe it's worth the try. And I said, okay. So we had them over here, and lo and behold, before I knew it, they were designing my craft room. So on August 12th and 13th, my cabinets that I have ordered, my husband and I have ordered, will be delivered and installed. Guys, can you see me in the frame without me standing up? Can you see me coloring? I just want to make sure it's in the right spot. Oh, I guess I could look, can't I? Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know, I'm not thinking. I wonder if there's a way to get those comments up on the screen. That'd be awesome. Okay, so when you look at these flowers, I haven't done this one yet. This one here is just like the underpainting. Now these ones I've been really kind of fine tuning, and you could probably see the difference between these two flowers. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to give dimension to these flowers. So I see a petal right here, and I want to give this a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more pop. And to do that, I'm adding the R22. And now I'm going to go with my mid-tone, which is the R21. And you know, another reason, guys, honestly, another reason for me to be really interested in getting the Arteza markers is because I want to help people color. And if I have the Arteza markers and other people have the Arteza markers, then you can follow along with me. So that means I'm going to have to save money and try to get those Arteza markers. Oops, wrong color. See, that was the light tone. I needed the mid-tone, which is the R21. But that's okay. No harm, no fall. There. See the light tone right in here? There you go. See? Then you just drag it out. And then your leaf has a lot more pop. It can be distinguished. In fact, I want to go a little deeper. I might even go to my Copic hex chart and see if I can find a deeper color when I'm done and try to make that pop a little bit more. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I love coloring. Does anyone participate in the Daily Markers 30-day coloring challenge? I do, as many times a year as I can. That's the funnest. That's therapy, man. Let me look down my comments, see if I have any more comments. Okay, everybody's just watching, I guess. Who's watching? Is anybody watching? L3's watching. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll keep going. So, yeah. On to Copic markers. Do I love them? Sure I do. Are you kidding me? Now this is a good opportunity. There's a backstory for my desire to use Copic markers. And I'm going to share my backstory since I'm on a live stream. The backstory for my use of Copic markers comes from when I was a child. My father and mother were divorced. And my father had a girlfriend. Her name was Lisa. Now, Lisa was an artist. And she would bring a portfolio to my dad's apartment. And I happened to see it when I was there for one weekend. I'm leaving out the part that my father was a terrible father and he hurt me and my sisters terribly, but that's a story for another video. In any event, she was an artist, and some of her drawings inside of that portfolio absolutely mesmerized me. And I was just in awe. I just couldn't believe that she could color without leaving lines on the paper. I mean, the colors on her artwork were absolutely seamless. And I gotta be honest with you, I didn't understand that was possible. Now, when I grew up, I was always an artist. I was always drawing. I don't know what my age of the people who are watching right now, Letitia and Gwen, and whoever else is there. But when I was young, I'm 49 now, so I'm a grandmother. I've got, gonna have my two twin grandchildren are gonna be born the last week, I believe, of September. So I'm a grandma, so I've been around a while. But in the Sunday paper, there was an advertisement of this bear with a hat. And it would say, if you could color this bear with the hat, send it in to us and you may be an artist. And so back then, there was no internet. And I was so excited. And I said to my mom, Mommy, I could be a real artist and they'll send me to art school. I was pretty naive, I know. But I did it, and we sent it in, and they even sent out a person to come meet with me. So back then, again, keep in mind, naivety was big. And I was naive, and so were my grandfather and my mother were very naive, and they saw this as an opportunity to further my career as an artist. So we sat down and we spoke with them, and I really thought that this was my jumping point. I had to be about 9, I guess. Now, coloring and drawing have always come very, very easy for me. So I did an excellent job. I didn't trace it. I just did it freehand, and it was great, and it was perfect, and they loved it, and they came and sat down with me, and then they told me the truth. See, the truth was, of course I can go to art school. I'm more than qualified and have a lot of talent to go to art school, but first you're going to have to pay this amount of money tuition to go to art school. And that's where the dream crashed and burned. So when I saw these markers that my father's girlfriend had, who he later married, I asked her if I could use them, and she said no. They were very expensive. And I said, okay. And from that point on, I just remember telling myself, if I had these markers, I could make seamless coloring. And to me, that was the best. That was the best news ever. And then life happened. And I had children, and I had husbands, and then I had more children and more husbands. Long story, different stream. So, yeah, these Copic markers to me were, I guess you would say, in my mind and in my heart since I was a little girl. I just never knew what they were called. But once I discovered them, I had to have them. Because to me, it was almost like a dream of my life to be able to use these markers and be able to make things come to life on paper. So that's my backstory with Copic markers. So that's why I say it is therapy. It's therapy. That's why I'm saying that you don't need Copic markers. You do not. You need alcohol markers. The reason why these markers work so well is because alcohol is the main, I guess you'd say, vehicle or medium in which this pigment being each color that you see here, alcohol is the vehicle for the pigment to travel through the paper. Now, if you looked at paper through a microscope, you would see that there's all these fibers, or they almost look like hairs if you got down deep close enough. The alcohol in this medium, these alcohol markers, actually flows through the fabric of the paper so seamlessly that it allows the pigment to travel and combine with other pigment. And that's what makes alcohol markers so good for coloring. I keep losing track of which marker. Oh, there it is. I lose track of which leaf I'm working on. Anyway, alcohol in this medium is what makes it so useful and why it becomes seamless when you saturate the paper. You'll hear that term, saturation, over and over again. Because the pigment follows the alcohol. So now, since I watched the video about Arteza alcohol markers, and I watched the Frugal Crafter demonstrate the Arteza markers and do wonderful works with it, I realized that as long as you have the alcohol and you have decent tips, this is a brush tip, that's one of the big claims to fame for the Copic markers, and it is helpful to have the brush tip, but it's not really necessary. So if you have the medium and you have the vehicle, which is the alcohol, I'm pretty much on the team that you can pretty much do what you want to do with pretty much any alcohol marker, as long as the pigment is a good quality pigment. The alcohol is really what does the big show, the big unsung hero. Here's one that needs some serious pumping. So I encourage you, if you want to color, if you want to start doing alcohol marker coloring, I encourage you to get the artisan markers or the hoo-hoos, whichever you like. They're both, I think hoo-hoo comes from China, and the Arteza you can get on Amazon, and they have a great deal. Every once in a while they'll send you coupons. Sign up for that subscription for the I guess the newsletter, and you'll get coupon codes and such, and some YouTubers will review them, and they might even have a coupon code for you. So I definitely suggest you do the Arteza markers. Okay, so moving on. Can you all see the difference between this flower and that flower? That's really where it comes down to. This flower should seem to pop out of the page, whereas this one I only did the underpainting. So let's continue with this flower. And don't worry about these. I'm going to do these in a little while. I want to really focus on these, and I might even look over at my hex chart and see if I can find some other deeper pinks where I can really get that to ride out a little bit better. When I say ride out, I mean travel on the paper and mix a little bit deeper color, because if you can get something to mix, then that's it. That's what you gotta do. You gotta just work it in. Sorry, my markers are making noise. There we go. And just go over with that lighter. Ba-bang. Now I'm gonna go through that again, but I wanna wait, because alcohol markers will saturate your paper, because that's what they're supposed to do. We want them to saturate the paper. But too much saturation and it'll flow outside your lines. You can see here I went outside the lines, but I'm not all hung up about that. Okay? So when you work on one petal, kind of similar to watercolor painting, you're going to want to be careful not to oversaturate, because that's when it gets messy. That's when things start to bubble out and go crazy. I'm not worried about that, because this is a handmade card. And when you get handmade merchandise, you want to see the work of the hands that made it. So I think it helps people to see that not everyone is perfect. And God above knows I'm not perfect. I struggle every day. Every day. Okay. So again, yay on Arteza markers. If you do not have any Copic markers, I encourage you to get Arteza markers. That's my final yay on alcohol markers. I just started with Copic markers, and I had amassed such a huge collection. There was just no stopping. I had to continue my collection. And I'm pretty sure that Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, had mentioned that she thought that they would be doing markers individually after a while if they're successful. So you would be able to replace them, and they may even come out with refills, which I encourage. I think you should really take advantage of that. Now, if I were to get real picky about my coloring, I would say, oh my gosh, I got to get in with my my zero marker and try to get that back, but I'm not going to freak out about that, because again, this is a handmade card, and people who get this card will see that it's handmade. Only machines are programmed to do things the same way every time, but when you make something by hand, it's never exactly the same. You see that highlight, I left that alone because I'm going to go back over with my lightest R00, and I'm going to pull it down. You see how that just flows together? Hi, Jules Journal. Hi. Thank you. This is a stamp set from Gina K Designs. I'm using it for a collaboration that I'm doing. Some of you may have heard of it, Christmas in July. Hosted, good grief. Hosted by DawnH Creates. And that's what I'm doing this for. I'm not spoiling anything for anyone, you see, because I already spoiled it last weekend by putting up the rustic theme ahead of time. So Tracy, did a naughty, but it's all for fun. And they were all very gracious. Tracy, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So you should start seeing those flowers really pop out. Now sadly, there is one paper that works better than everything with just simply alcohol markers. And that is the Nina cardstock. And unfortunately, you can't find that everywhere. Usually you have to go online. Amazon did have it. And right now, the Nina Solar White, that's the title you want. And as much to my chagrin, it does work better than other papers. So I wish it didn't because it's expensive, but it does. You can also get, I believe Gina K has a paper that seems to be very successful with these markers. But again, I already had a really big supply of the Nina Solar White, 110 pound and 80 pounds, so I don't see the need to rush out and get some Gina K cardstock. Okay, so look at this, we're right back to this leaf again. So now that we know that we've given that some time, I can go back in now. And I can just add just a little bit more, just a little. And then just a little bit right here. Because the darker you have it, the more it's going to pop. And this will remain lighter with the R00. So, Jewel, if you're still watching, Jules Journals. Hello, Jules! If you're still watching, R22 is my deepest tone. Mid-tone is R21, and my lightest tone is R00. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm gonna look over here for just a second. And I'm gonna see if I can find from R22, oh, R05. Oh, I like R24 better. Okay, R24. R24 is gonna be an even darker. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work with R24 and R22, R21. And I'm going to deepen even further so it comes off the page even more. And I can see in my monitor, it actually looks like it's working pretty well. But let's go in with R22 and see if we can't get those, the deepest areas just a little bit deeper. I'm also working with an Archon mount. That's where my camera, my phone is right now. Archon.com is the company name. Oh, I like the way that's blending right now. I'm excited. Archon.com is the name of the manufacturer of my mount. And that's what's holding my camera. Okay, I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay, it looks good. So let's see, I did this one here, so I'm gonna go a little bit deeper in here. And really, I'm just dabbing. I'm not even really using any fancy strokes. I'm really just dropping color. If you were watercolor painting, you would just be dropping drips of paint in the paint that you have, the water on the paper that you're using. Blah, blah, blah. And you just deepen the spaces that you know would be in shadow. Now, another way you could do this is you could just use grays. Grays will deepen pigment, and you can get away with it doing that way if you didn't have all these colors. I got, okay, the Jersey Crafter gave me the name of this app, and it's called Streaming Labs. And I gotta tell you guys, this is just so awesome. Because I thought that I couldn't do live streams anymore because YouTube told me I couldn't do live streams anymore. Just goes to show you, you can't believe everything you're told. Because when using this app, and it was super easy to hook up and change and set up and connect my account, that now I can. And that's amazing. So, okay, so Jules Journal, I don't know if you heard this or not, but I do recommend Arteza alcohol markers just based on the reviews that I've watched so far. I believe Courtney Keebler has reviewed them. Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, has reviewed them. You'll find numerous reviews. In fact, a lot of these people are getting them courtesy of Arteza. Not that their review would be biased in any way, because they were provided for them. I just don't have enough subscribers, I guess, to be considered to give the Arteza markers to explore them further. So I'm just not a good investment, I guess you would say, from a business point of view, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But I think I may have to get them if I continue to encourage people to order them, just so I have the best information to give. But just from the little knowledge I have, I do recommend you getting them and not starting with the Copic markers, because Copic markers are insanely expensive, and they're mainly meant to be for professional artists who do illustrations. Now, I only learned what illustrations were recently, and that must have been what my father's now wife did for a living, Lisa. She was an illustrator. She was a professional artist. Now, illustrators, what they do is they make outstanding projects, and then they scan them into another method of media, whether it be a computer or what have you, a copier, like a laser printer, and they immortalize what they've done. So it doesn't really matter if the light hits it anymore, because they've, well, like I just said, they immortalized it. It's forever going to be there. So that's why illustrators use it, these Copic markers. And that's why they're so expensive. So bottom line is that I never needed Copic markers. I'm not an illustrator, although I'm sure I could probably be an illustrator if I wanted to. But I have a disability and I am retired from working because I do not think well anymore. So I obviously did not need these professional markers, but because of my background, because of my deep-seated need as a child, I told myself I had to have them, and so I got them. And it was very expensive. It was too expensive, so don't get them. Get Artezas instead. I'm sure you'll get just as much fun from using them. Well, I really like the way this R24 is really working for me. Look at how it just dissolves like that. Very cool. I think I'm not in the frame very well. Sorry about that. Really, Letitia, autism. My son has autism also. He's on the spectrum. He's got Asperger's syndrome. That's tough. How old is your son, Letitia? I know you've been on my videos and such, and I know that you've been commenting your sweetheart. I just want to get to know you a little bit better, if that's okay. I have to look up to see your comments, so if I'm delayed in any way, I apologize. 5. Wow, 5 years old. Well, you know what? You're at a huge advantage. Huge advantage. Oh, praise God. First of all, having a child with autism, let's see, some however years ago it was an uphill battle. But having a child with autism now, you're so much better off. Your son is so much better off than I was with my son Jordan, because let me tell you something, it was a nightmare. A nightmare. It was almost as hard to get him diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome as it was for me to get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It was just an absolute poop storm. So the fact that you have him diagnosed, and he is diagnosed, correct, Letitia? If he's diagnosed at 5 years old, boy, he's got a head start. That's awesome. I think I'm still alive. This is what I would be doing anyway. See how I'm getting this shadow? I'm really hitting up with a shadow right here. I really want that to stay there, because this flower, I mean this leaf is coming from underneath these two. So I really want to keep that nice grade there. That's all they call it now, Letitia, is autism. It used to be different things like Asperger's and stuff like that, but now they just call everything autism. So he has autism on the Asperger's spectrum. That's what my son has. My son is going to be, I guess he's 20 years old now, and he's doing super well. And a lot of people wouldn't even know that he has Asperger's, because he's a very, very effective person. He's very kind. He's very polite. So yeah, it doesn't really come to play until he has directions and stuff. Oh, you think it's Asperger's too? Well, I could help you. I have a lot of information. I have a lot of methods, a lot of experience with it. I'd be glad to help you with any questions you have. I can even say I'm an expert, because my son has had it all his life, but they refused to test him, even though his grades reflected that there was a problem. And that went on. I knew that my son needed to be diagnosed when he was in the 2nd grade. I went to his teacher and I said to her, my son is broken and I need help. We need to fix him. That was very crude language, I understand, but I needed help. And that was the only way I knew to say something. And I said it every single time there was parent-teacher conferences, and every single time they would scold me for saying that my child was broken. But you know what? He was. So, with a child that's 5 years old, you think he has Asperger's, Letitia. So what I'm going to ask you is, does he struggle with personal relationships with other children? And is he violent? Because there's a different kind of extreme autism, and sometimes that's where you need the therapist to come in. I don't I never had to deal with violence when it comes to it, which is the violence, I'm sure, just comes from frustration. You can see on this leaf, I'm just going to drop a little bit of that very dark R24. Just little dips, just little drops. Then I'm going to go back to the R21. Okay, let's see if I'm on camera. I'm looking pretty good. I'll have to work on keeping it in the frame. Okay. So I really like what happened here. I really like that a lot. It really popped. I'm really liking that. I'm happy with that. Let me add just a couple of drops in here. Go back to the R22. And that's really all it is. It's just a dab of this and a dab of that. I might even get daring and go for an R89 at the end, but that's a little bit drastic. He needs help with socialization. Yes. Oh my gosh, Letitia, I could show you a picture of my son. I mean, it would really help you. It might make you cry though, because you're going to see so many similarities in your son. But my son was often getting awards at school, and he would take his picture and he would put the award in front of his face, so that when they took the picture, you would see my son, of course, but you would see him holding a piece of paper in front of his face, so you could never see his face in the camera. So to say that he had difficulties with socializing, yeah, big time. And it's legitimate. I mean, they're very uncomfortable. I don't want to say afraid. I'm going to say uncomfortable, because, you know, he's a grown man now. So when I speak about my son, I have to be much more cautious about the terms that I use. Okay, I think that's done well. Yeah, I like that. Hi.
I'm gonna go to the pole barn, so those guys are gonna come back from lunch.
Oh, they're still working?
You can buzz me if they need me.
Did the nurse call you?
Yeah, they referred me to a couple of dermatologists, and
Oh, that's all they can do
really
then.
bad reviews on both of them, that you have to wait an hour and a half in the waiting room, you know. Only see you for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I ordered a couple of books to read about it.
Okay.
So I can do, I guess.
Okay, honey.
Because I don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Arm and leg for dermatologists.
Okay, hon. All right. Well, is there anything in particular I'm waiting for to tell you, or if it's just I need you to buzz you down at the pole barn?
Yeah, they're gonna want me to write a check.
Oh, the biggest important part. Gotcha. The payment. Gotcha. Okay. All right, honey. Thank you. Sorry, real life. Hubby came in. So I'm just dropping R24. And then going back to my mid-tone. Okay. It's looking good, everybody. I'm pretty okay with that. Once you get all the color, or the majority of color in, it becomes much easier. Because then you're just dropping the pigment into the already saturated paper. Once you get the ink moving, it becomes much easier. Now the brush tip, the artisan markers do not have a brush tip, so it might be a little different to make the color move, because this is just a longer, softer tip, so it's a little bit more movable, more pliable. I'm live. Oh. Okay, 1 second. I'll be right back. Guess what? There's a million people that have to walk around. No? Okay, I'm back. I lost someone. That's okay. I'm back. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You need to go to language therapy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, loves, enjoy yourself, and anytime you need help, just email me or something, okay? Who do I still have? Do I have Jewel Journal? Jelly Journal? Jelly Journal? Is it Jelly Journal? Who's still watching? Hello. I'm glad you enjoyed the live, dear. I think it's me that's watching. Oh, somebody else is there now. Yes, I'd love to talk to you too. So I'm here for you. So just send me a message or something. littlesafegirl@yahoo.com. Bye.